Hey guys, welcome back to Russian Libertas Corpus YouTube channel, where we, Alexei Postnikov and Gala Bogatova, are talking about Russian society, Russian politics, Russian issues as we call it, and answering your questions. It's been a while, but today is the day when we're finally addressing some comments from the comment section down below. So if you want to ask anything or say anything, please do.
Yeah. So it was really interesting to engage with some of those. I really noted a comment that was a response to a video about the abusive techniques that Putin uses in his propaganda strategies and how it resembles the domestic violence abusive patterns. And I see a comment here that states, if Putin uses those techniques, it is because they work with Russians. Civilian society in Russia appears weak and individualized, a society of slaves and feudal peasants. Russia has a population, not people. Politics is something happening on a different planet, quote unquote.
Right.
Therefore, the citizens of Russia will have to be reprogrammed. They have to learn about democracy, free speech, citizens' rights, criticism, critical thinking. Otherwise, future Russian leaders will just use the same techniques because they know they work. So first of all, I would like to appreciate our viewer and the time she or he took to post this comment and for engaging with our material. And I have a bit of a feedback here, if you don't mind.
I have some feedback as well, yeah.
Yeah, so first of all, I agree with the fact that Russian people, after the fall of regime, will have to be reprogrammed. That's true.
I would say, okay, I do have a problem with the word reprogrammed. Like how...
They would have to unlearn their old patterns and have to learn new ones. They would have to adapt to a new situation and would have to learn about how democracy actually functions within after the state will be transformed.
Right. I mean, we're talking about education, not... I mean, because...
Education is pretty much programming.
Well, when you use the term like programming, what I think about is Uyghur concentration camps in China, for example. That's reprogramming.
For me, reprogramming means it's a term in psychotherapy as well. You program yourself on certain, you can program yourself to think positively, or you can program yourself to positive thinking and self-accepting thoughts. But you can be programmed, meaning conditioned in childhood, to negative thinking and to self-destructive behavior. To me, that's an okay term to say, to be programmed for, or to be reprogrammed. That's in psychotherapy. It's absolutely acceptable term. There is nothing about concentration camps.
What I can agree with here is that yes, Russian society is highly individualized, it's atomized, because that was the way of governing people in the Soviet Union. So that was a goal, to create an atomized society with a very, very low level of trust, horizontal connections and all that. But what we've seen in the past 10 years in Russia is how fast Russian people, not like some other people from outside with like bright ideas, can create horizontal connections, can help each other, can form pretty effective structures in very hostile environment. I mean, even now, we still have half destroyed, half oppressed some of those structures that functions.
Do you think there is nothing for Russians to learn?
No, there is a lot for Russians to learn. I'm really against saying reprogramming and reprogramming.
Okay, you don't like that word.
I really
Let's
don't
rephrase
like this
it.
word, yes.
Let's say this person say that they need to learn about democracy, free speech, citizens' rights, criticism, and critical thinking.
yeah, I mean, we do need to go through a lot of education, I would say, as a society. But what I really don't like is like putting Russians in this kind of a almost subhuman category, not like ethnically, but because of whatever reasons, we cannot kind of do that to anyone because that's
Dehumanizing, right? So
yes,
that was actually the second part of my comment here, because a society of slaves and feudal peasants sounds a bit emotional.
yeah,
That's I would not address that because that's pretty clearly emotions speaking. But I would say that I would abstain from providing or from prescribing any intrinsic or inherent characteristic to a
yes,
nation, because it is just not realistic. There is no impossible in the social domain. There is impossible in biological domain. There is impossible in physical domain. But whatever is possible in physical, in biological, and in psychological, everything is possible within social
yeah,
domain. Like anything can happen. Any society that has been through a genocide, that has been through horrible atrocities, I mean, look at Germany. They can't be they can be in any way changed. They
yeah.
can become unrecognizable.
And again, like if we're talking about, like if we're using this language when it's like, oh, like those people for some reasons are that and that, the only example you need to know or to think about is Korea. We have North Korea, we have South Korea. Are they like different people for some reason? Or so it happened that the people in the northern part of the Korea happen to be, like feudal peasants, without any will that can just, that they only can to be a part of an autocratic regime. And then the people in the southern part of the country happen to be like pretty democracy oriented and progressive and all of that. Well, no, it's nonsense. But
How?
generally, like calling anybody, feudal peasant is not gonna help.
I mean,
Anything.
it will help a person who needs to relieve their emotional.
True, yeah.
So I will not judge this.
I'm okay, I call myself a peasant all the time, but
Oh no!
that's my.
Seriously.
Well, I'm, like my ancestors were peasants, so I mean, and I'm like, yeah, my ancestors were peasant. So what?
Yeah.
But like
Well,
when somebody's like trying to say something, saying that to me, I'm not happy with
usually
that.
generalizations like that and hurtful words, to me they're just a sign of emotional background of this saying.
Yeah.
Another comment that we have addresses our video about why Putin gets sincerely hurt by the betrayal of his surrounding like Prigozhin. I think Putin's feeling got hurt, and it's not only about money, it's the betrayal in the personal relationship. And Putin was really frightened, but I don't think he wanted to feel love. He saw the people in Rostov shouting, "Wagner, Wagner," and he understood that Prigozhin became a hero of the ordinary people. What do you think?
Well, I don't think it kind of contradicts our statement that he wants. I think it kind of hurt him a little bit emotionally that people don't really chant Putin Putin unless they were specifically brought to the big stadium to and were specifically told to chant Putin Putin Russia
Right.
Russia. I mean, nobody's like willingly on the street, just it just doesn't happen. And like just imagine that you were Putin, you don't have like any fans. I mean, he has some fans in
Crazy.
Russia, yeah, but because he didn't face the real people in like maybe 10 years or so, because we have all these stories each time Putin goes to see like the regular people, somehow like Putin fishing with some fishermen, Putin in the church with some people. I mean, multiple investigations just showed that all these regular people are actually the part of the FSO, which is the Federal Protection Service. Basically, it's Putin's bodyguards. They just playing the roles of regular fishermen, miners, people in church visitors, and like, well, of course they're not gonna chant Putin, Putin, and also he knows that they work for him. They just doing it for the picture, for the news. So Putin didn't see like a regular random Russian person in a while. So he had no chance to experience that sort of. Well, when people see a celebrity, a lot of people would be like, oh yeah, that's really cool. And like Putin is a celebrity, sort of a celebrity in Russia. But then with Prigozhin, there was not a lot of people. There was not like masses, like not the whole city of Rostov went out to cheer Prigozhin. It was like few hundreds people, and Rostov is like more than 1 million people. So, okay, you have few hundreds of people chanting Prigozhin, okay, but that was sincere. They sincerely into that, I don't know how to describe him. Well, dead butcher and, well, now he's dead.
Yeah, so in your
I think it was
understanding,
compensation, I think. Yeah.
like it's not about Putin wanting to feel loved. It's just him having no direct communication or connection to people just because he avoids them.
I would say he was jealous.
Yeah, but okay. So I have a very important question here.
Okay.
One of our viewers comments on our video as of 3 months ago, by the way, that asks...
It's been a while, yes.
Yeah. Whom do you represent? Where you're from and based now? I think it's time for us to refresh the memory of our viewers. If somebody has just subscribed and, you know, didn't scroll down and see our introduction on the channel, let's just
do it again.
Let's just do it again, and we will draw the line. That will be a good conclusion.
All right. Do you want to start? Should I start?
So, my name is Galina, and I'm a PhD in international relations. Now I'm teaching at Florida International Universities remotely, but I'm based in New York, Brooklyn, already as of a year and a half. Yeah, a year and a half, more. And we have organized this channel after the war started, just because we decided that there is not enough English translation of oppositionist Russian insights that are happening, and this creates a one-sided image of Russians in the English-speaking informational domain. Now.
So my name is Alexei, and I used to be a journalist in Russia, political journalist on the radio station called Echo of Moscow in Yekaterinburg, and I'm from Yekaterinburg, which is in Ural Mountains. I don't know, do you need to know all those details? Probably not, but anyway. And I moved here 5 years ago now, also Brooklyn, New York. As you can, guess, because we're sitting here in the same location. I used to be a political journalist, so I consider myself knowing, let's say, a little bit about current Russian political system, because everything what's happening now, all the, moves and strategies and tactics, they were kind of implemented there was a process of implementing more and more repressionist instruments into that system over the last more than 10 years, starting 2011. And of course I cannot stay away from this topic after the war started, because
what else to do?
Yeah, Yeah, so we just want the voice of, I would say, sane Russians to be heard and considered, because we do have some great speakers who are, they talk into Western media a lot, but also they, let's say, some sort of a Russian political celebrities in a way, and we just, two people, two persons from Russia with some
with some
ideas.
opinion, yeah, with some standing about stuff,
Yeah.
and some small tiny expertise in that regard. But I think one of the purposes of this channel is also engaging with you guys.
Yeah.
So I would personally really appreciate if you drop a comment down below about what you think about this, our responses to your comments, and also ask any questions that you would like us to address in the next video, because the situation right now is pretty stagnant, and we have a collection of questions, by the way, but we still want more of your interest in whatever we are addressing, in terms of we want to talk about things that are interesting to you. So please drop the comment down below.
Like the video, subscribe to the channel, show it to your friends, hit the bell, all that stuff that you watch YouTube regularly, so you know what to do.
You know the drill.
Yes. Right.
Bye bye.